My name is Joe Reynolds. I'm for LowKick MMA. I'm joined by Brett Johns. A couple of weeks away from your fight, buddy. How are you feeling for it?
Yes, look, I'm eager to get in there and get the job done. You know, I think it's been about 13 weeks this camp has. It's been challenging. Let's just say that. It's been challenging, you know, and I'm eager to get in there and get a good performance in, and then literally taking some time off and just, you know, kind of recovering a little bit because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This one's been tough on the old body, but you know, yeah, we want to get in there and put a good performance in as well. The whole sort of situation in this camp has been slightly a little bit messed up. We were meant to fight James Gallagher, and obviously that change up an opponent has kind of put a span in the works. But now we got a tough American fighter called Jordan Winski. There's been slight adaptations in camp, but nothing crazy. But yeah, we're okay. I'm just looking forward to actually being in there, and then the referee, whoever it may be, just saying go, and then I'll be okay.
100%. And you say, obviously, you've had the mix around with your opponents a little bit, and now you have got your opponent. So sort of getting that change from one fighter to another, what is that like just pretty much halfway through sort of a fight camp, just a few weeks away from sort of fight like that?
Yeah, like, to be honest, it wouldn't really bother me so much. But I knew how high of a profile James Gallagher is, and I knew that it was a big fight, and going out to Dublin and being behind enemy lines and fighting in front of his crowd, that was the sacrifice I was prepared to make just to get that fight. And you know, at the end of the day, that fight's not happening now, but that fight will happen. You know, I'm adamant that it's going to happen. If it might happen in Dublin again, it might even happen in my neck of the woods in Swansea or Wales. You know, but yeah, at the end of the day, that I'm not going to forget about that fight, but it kind of got to put it on the back burner for the minute and concentrate on Jordan. Like I said, slight adjustments in camp. It's not as major as my sort of like my Bellator debut, where I was preparing for a Brazilian striker for like 15 weeks, and then a week before they changed it to an NCAA American wrestler. It's not as bad as that, you know. But look, in my opinion, he's coming on 6 weeks' notice. He's had plenty of time. He's got plenty of time to work. I've had plenty of time to work and adapt to this guy, and yeah, man, I'm just ready to go in there, and I'm sure he's going to come with his A game, and I'm certainly going to come with my A game, and we'll see whose A game is the best.
100%. And being a UK guy, I've got to touch on the UK scene at the moment, even regionally, especially Wales at the moment. There's some great talents coming through from amateur and pro. So to sort of see how much the UK game has evolved, obviously, you came through with this generation. You've been one of the guys that's right at the top at the moment. But to see this next generation come in, what's that like, especially in Wales, your home country as well?
It's absolutely terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. And even when I talk about SMMA with Richard Shaw, you know, I'll be in the gym getting ready, and then next minute you'll see one of the youngsters come through the door, and I'll go, "Oh no, this is going to be a tough day." You know, these youngsters coming through the ranks now, they've got everything they need. They've got everything they need, especially with Shaw MMA. You know, shaky Richard Shaw has been in this game for God knows how many years. Was an active fighter himself. Has created, in my opinion, the greatest Welsh mixed martial artist ever with Jack Shaw, his son, you know, and the whole sort of team environment at the minute in Shaw MMA is brilliant. Outside of that, with other teams around Wales, there's some big movements. We've got some good up and comers coming through the ranks at an amateur level, but also at a professional level. Before 2016, we had no representatives even step foot in the UFC, and now we're in 2022. We've had 6 there, you know, and I think Wales is starting to slowly snowball with this whole sort of Welsh MMA scene. And yeah, at the end of the day, I'm representing Bellator, and so thankful for Bellator for the opportunity. But what I want to do next is kind of bring it back home to Wales. I think PFL come to Cardiff a few weeks ago, but look, I know ticket wise they didn't really do very well there. You know, I think they had 2 good Welsh fighters in the card with Joshua Corn and Ben Ellis. But I feel like realistically they need a big show in Wales. And if I had to be really selfish, I'd want it done in the new arena in Swansea. And I think that a fight with, say, the likes of me and James Gallagher, if we get through the Jordan Winski fight unscathed, main event in Swansea, I think that place will sell out for sure.
It'd be a phenomenal fight. And obviously, you touched on the crowd at PFL. We also touched on the football a little bit in terms of Swansea. The Welsh crowd, they really get behind any athlete that represents the Wales. So in terms of knowing the support that you have going into each fight as well, obviously, going into it, the crowd aren't really going to be able to help you indicate. But does the support that you do get from the Welsh fans, how big is that for you in terms of a motivator?
Oh, it's huge. I thought, like, I never thought I'd say this, but I fought in stadiums, in arenas, in pubs full of people. And then I fought in places where there's been none whatsoever, like fighting in Abu Dhabi going through the pandemic, or fighting in the Mohegan Sun in Connecticut with no crowd. And weirdly, they were two of my worst performances. I feel like having the crowd there puts a different pressure on me, and it's a pressure where at the time I don't particularly like, but as of like when I'm in there, it just makes me feel different. And that three arena, man, is electric when it's fight night. Regardless if it's with UFC or Bellator. Like when I was there in February, that crowd was absolutely electric, and it's going to be 10 times better this time around when you've got the Irish fighter Peter Queally main event with Benson Henderson. But the one that I'm really looking forward to, it's got to be that co-main event. It's got to be Melvin Manoy versus Joe Romero, and I think that fight is. Look, I'll put a bet on with anybody. That fight ain't going 15 minutes. I'll put a bet on with anybody that fight go 15 minutes. And I've been a big fan of both guys. And weirdly, I'd probably say I've been more of a fan for Melvin Manoy, really, So having Joe Romero been such this icon in sort of MMA, I've always been pure Melvin Manoy. I always watched him as a youngster and always loved his fighting style. It's killed or be killed, the same as yours. So I'm intrigued to see how that fight goes, but I'll put a bet with any man to say that's not going 15 minutes.
I'm not even going to try it and review it with a bet. I 100% agree. It's going to be one of them ones. But and as well, obviously, you touched on those names, but in Bellator, you're really not far off of those sort of main events yourself. Obviously, you've come into Bellator. You had a brilliant, you had a successful tenure in the UFC. Cage Warrior is very successful as well. So to know that you're not really far away from those big opportunities in Bellator, where you can also be main eventing, co-main eventing. I know you won't be looking too much past this fight, but is that sort of interesting to you, knowing that you're nearly at that level already in Bellator?
Yeah, like that excites me though. To I'm doing this for two reasons. One, to kind of solidify my family's sort of future, make sure that we have a home and we have things for after fighting. But two, to have the memories, man. These memories are going to be major for me. And having the career that I've had so far, I could literally call it a day right now and be happy with everything I've achieved. So everything else from here on out is a bonus. And the little bucket list things that I want to do. And one of them is to be on a Bellator poster, to be a Bellator main event, to even fight for that Bellator title. But, doesn't matter what anybody says to me. It's my personal goals, nobody else's. I've done everything I needed to do. So for everything from here on out, just a bonus. I've won world titles. I've won British titles. I've won regional titles. I've had performance bonuses. I've fought the best guys in the world. I've fought top 10 fighters. I've done everything I've needed to do. So everything from here on out is a bonus. And to have my face on a poster and to have my name on a poster that I'm able to show people when I eventually open my own gym. I used to be there and I used to fight, and they could see the posters. That'd be a big deal for me. And at the end of the day, after every single fight I have now, I started collecting my shorts and gloves probably since my last couple of fights with Cage Warriors. And win, lose, or draw, they get framed. They get put up in the gym. They get framed. I spend like 90 quid a frame to get them all done up properly. But it's well worth it, even the losses, because winning experiences and losing experiences, what they both got in common is that they're both experiences. And I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for the sport. I'm very thankful for the promotions, in particular Bellator, who are now making this worthwhile for me. And I'm very loyal to Bellator, and I want to continue to be loyal. Hopefully, get this fight, and we'll see what they say about another contract. I want to sign. That's what. There's no secret. I want to sign a long-term contract with Bellator. They've shown me their loyalty. And in that sort of way, I can show them my loyalty and show them that I want to be here for a long time and make improvements with the company. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and you mentioned there obviously you started fighting because your personal goals and the family issues as well. But when you do have you're fighting for your family as well, does it change your sort of perspective on fighting a little bit, knowing that you've got more than yourself to fight for in a sense? You've also got the family at the same time that you're fighting for as well.
Yeah, like obviously the financial element of it, of course, it's no secret you get more money if you win and you get less money if you lose, and so you're always trying to win. But realistically, through my whole career, that's all I kind of concentrate on. It's not money or so on. It's mostly to improve myself, to try and be a better fighter, and I think everything else will fall into place, because this sport, man, is just luck of the draw, man. You just roll the dice. Sometimes it ain't your number, you just got to pick them up and roll them again, and yeah, it does put that sort of subconscious pressure on there, but I think you need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture and realize why you started this sport, and realize what you're doing and how you're doing it, and enjoy the thing. At the end of the day, I was talking to a previous interviewer, and I said how long I had left. I don't know how long it's going to be. I could, it could be after this fight, it could be in 10 fights time, it could be in 20 fights time. I don't know. So from here on out, I'm going to enjoy every moment and savor it. And I think if I take that approach, then things will fall into place. And obviously, providing for a family would be that much more easier and happier. And a happier fighter is a dangerous fighter,
100%. And then obviously just to touch on, before going back to the fight, you've had an extensive background in MMA. You were one of the first few fighters, especially in Wales, but not just Wales, in the UK, where you really got onto that big stage. You made some big statements inside of a lot of shows, and you helped out the UK scene massively. And do you feel now, obviously, you touched a little bit on the success of Wales coming through, but do you almost feel happy that you are recognised as one of those people that were really the first to establish yourself on the MMA scene and really begin the foundations? So we have the likes of Dan Hardy and yourself as well to lay the foundations. That sort of big future for UK MMA and just Wales in general. Do you feel as though you're one of those fighters in there?
Yeah, 100% is in with Wales in general. Like, we've had so many good fighters represent the UK. You've had good fighters come from Scotland, from Ireland, from Northern Ireland, from England, from Wales. Look, at the end of the day, in years to come, if they make a big MMA book on Welsh MMA fighters, to be recognised as one of the top names in that book would be a dream come true. Like I said, I've, on a very selfish level, I've done everything I needed to do. So everything from here on out is a bonus. And at the end of the day, I won two world titles with the previous promotion. One with Titan FC, one with Cage Warriors. So there's one for one shoulder, there's one for the other shoulder, but I still got that waist free. So, if it is with Bellator, then brilliant. But I definitely see myself fighting for a belt in the future, whether it's with Bellator, whether it's with UFC, ONE FC, any FC. It doesn't bother me. But I definitely see me getting one more belt before I call it a day anyway.
Yeah, and then just one of the last few things from me as well. In terms of going back to this fight and looking at your opponent, where do you see your big advantages lying in that sort of fight, and how you see it playing out as well?
Yeah, looking at the opponents, I truly believe I'm better in every area. I really do think that. I'm trying to be modest. I'm trying to say, like, look, at the end of the day, what Jordan is good at. But I do feel like I have the advantage in the grappling. I do feel like I have the advantage in the striking. I do feel like I have the advantage in the wrestling. But I think that Jordan is a veteran, and he's going into fights where he's fought guys who have spoken like me, and he's made it awkward, and he's made the fight ugly. And I think going to this fight, he'll be exactly the same. It's not an easy fight, It's and it's not all about who is better in each area. It's who can blend the whole thing together the best, And yeah, it's a tough fight. I'm expecting some claret to be shared that night, and hopefully it's not going to be mine, but I can't guarantee that, But it's going to be a tough fight, And after that, then we look at the next thing, which hopefully will be Gallagher if Bellator can kind of sort that out. But first, we got Jordan Winski to worry about, and it's going to be a tough fight.
Yeah, and then finally, my last question for you. In terms of what people can expect to see come fight night for Brett Johns in front of the Bellator crowd? What does that look like in terms of what they can expect to see from you continuing your journey within Bellator?
It's just another fight, climbing up the ladder and getting that win and getting close to that top 10. That's the goal at the minute. There's no secret what I want to do. And not only do I think a win over Jordan will put me in the right direction, but obviously getting a good performance in, just like I did in February, it's going to put a good shout in my mouth to kind of get them top names ready for the next step in my career, because I'm not going to lie about it. I want to aim for that belt, but I know what I need to do to get there, and that's to continue to win. And come next Friday, I will execute that plan.
100%. So that is everything from me. I do appreciate your time. Obviously, he's one of UK's veterans, but he's still a top athlete as well. Bellator, be ready for him. He's making statement after statement. I promise you, he's going to be on them posters very soon. Main event in Swansea. Mark my words. But there you go. That's everything from me. Obviously, any sponsors, your socials, obviously feel free to just shout them out, buddy.
Yeah, no, just thank you to everybody. It's been a big part of my career, sponsorships, Tatami, Sapology, there's so many, the Pizza Boys, the Halfway. I've got a couple of charities as well that I'll be repping on fight night. So yeah, no, just thank you everybody for the support, and thank you for taking your time to interview me, Joe. Thank you.
No, mate, it's an absolute pleasure. I've been watching you for a long time. Obviously, a journey throughout UKMMA, even Cage Warriors, been making statements. But no, do really appreciate your time. That is everything from me. I've already said it. Expect to see him on a couple posters soon. Swansea, you never know. But that's everything from me. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKickMMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.